apart from the telecommunication ne beteme no me so metua bibi kakra e de amaban. Now this is the history. Somewhere around November 17th 2021 and the government of Ghana proposed the electronic levy as a means to tax electronic transaction in the informal sector and expand the tax nets. See, from BM a 2 years no extra e Ghana had say tie ba BM emo bia tiato o bia betiato. Now, okay, in 2022 budget statement and economic policy Kano Foriata Ekokinkaye our parliament somewhere in 2022. Now, proposal was included in the 2022 budget statement and the economic policy presented in Parliament of Ghana. E-levy no ashase no na Kano Foriata say yenya no 1.75%. And I say, hey, Uncle O, na 1.75% there, oh, Pacha say, ebi wo. It is a mean 10,000 Ghana cedis and 900,000 Ghana cedis. I am going to pay 1.75% out of the 10,000 cedis or out of the 100,000 cedis. Ebi wo bupa. Na, eno, it raises a lot of concerns, Emma. Minority for Eka said I be Adabraka. Kero Foriata, be mindful because this is Ghana. This is where we are. However, after several consultations, the majority leaders and of course the minister in charge of finance, Keno Foriata, and I'm reducing E-levy from 1.75% to 1.5% on all transactions. Emma Abino estimates at the end of the year they are likely to get make me enyesika Bama Ghana about $1.15 billion US. It was estimated, sir, approximately about $1.15 billion US from the E-levy. It's when you start to say, okay, so I buy to say na be there. Okay, ya sempa nemo rate no e was ro. It's the best way to do, and I said the best way to go, and then they said, when they will reduce from 1.75% to 1.5%, na yentumi emiemu ye, na obientumi enchiabi, na ekobase, ye cutting across no obia enchiabia. Yes, it might apply to every single individual, but then and you obia ne benye sesikano, and I say you obia ne betumi that particular 1.75%, no. The conference will show power at the floor of Parliament. And my minority, no, started working out of Parliament, started STG, a lot of commentaries. I can't say now, so the minority, I can say, at this point in time, as almost did work out before the electronic E-levy ebe pass here the same remember Ghana for media mo ho ya pa eti the E-levy no mo ya so mo be pass around 2021 somewhere around March 2022 29 na Tuesday ewia pa and the minority had complained that it had been taken by surprise by the consideration of the E-levy that is, yes, that was not listed in Parliament business for the week. Nemo, almost Nikia finding a way into it. The bill was considered under the certificate of agency and was adopted at a reduced rate of 1.5 from the proposed 1.7. Parliamentary and minority forces that be way and Sahaman just said him go away. To book pay free machine. I can't Ghana for to indicate to all Ghanaians that they are not in support of the electronic levy. It is a majority for the you will not be part of this shameless agenda more person prosecuting. And as a matter of fact, most of who kwaya E-levy no effort so Parliament. The business of the house. It's almost under the certificate of agency, and I did Coco Honomo, and I'm subsequently, and I'm pass bill no from 1.7 to 1.5. Now, interestingly, commentaries started and people, especially some members of parliament from the majority side, said, look, they want to tell Ghanaians, I'm going to tell Ghana from Fasudia, they may free the electronic levy. Me and Kasami member of parliament, our Ishiayaso, Stephen Amwa, Adodwana friend sticker, and make a very interesting comment. Our parliament, Ekachaya said, we will pass the E-levy at any time, on any day, any time. We will pass it and they cannot do anything to us. I want to be near a shame. If they claim it will make us unpopular, why would they stop? Well, they know this is going to transform and change lives of the entire Ghanaians. Stephen Amwakacha says, so when him says, minority for him said, Adia no eye papa. Ada no munjai no mun passe. Na se ekobase se Ghana for to aba. Obejan E-levy no so aka say, omo to aba fa mo. Na minority for person omo ma buy no eye unpopular. Na decisions be aba no take and I say project be aba no take ni na no stop. No say they know this is going to reverse the consequences of COVID-19 pandemic. They know this is going to put our fiscal space in the right perspective. And they are afraid that Ghanaians will continue to build their goodwill and confidence in this government. Wait, Stephen Amwa, or a member of parliament, Emma, the good people official, so I see minority for themselves. Wait, say E-levy way. And the money sikama me good Ghana for bottom. Ama the way are now COVID-19 let's say Ghana no. It will reverse the economy back on track. Ebema sikama back Ghana for bottom. Ebema nyuma ye. Ebema nyema ya sedi na timiamba. Sticker made this known to us. Okasha Ghana for you now. Said this is the consequences of the E-levy. If I should dear, you may free E-levy home and then the deputy minister in charge of finance, John Kuma, also making this interesting revelation. Now, John Kuma also say E-levy, you know, is very, very important. Now, let me quote exactly what he said. On what the nation stood to gain from the E-levy, he stated that unlike road tolls that generated about 78 million Ghana cedis a year, the E-levy was expected to generate 6.9 billion in 2022, which would give government enough fiscal space to pay road contractors anytime they submitted their certificate. I just want to repeat this for you to get a better understanding. I say, on what the nation stood to gain from the E-levy, he stated that unlike road toll, first road toll, now road toll no afibia no, na Ghana yenya kwa na 78 million Ghana cedis. And yenya free road toll so. Na say E-levy ne ba so we are going to scrap the 78 million Ghana cedis. Now E-levy no betimi generate over 6.9 billion Ghana cedis in 2022. Na eno na aboa yetimi tia road contractors for kaye pa. Anytime a register certificate is said, oh, yeah, quite not do how to say. They need money to continue. They need money to do whatever they want to do. Not just about to me, acquire Emma Bibiasa to me. This is what the Deputy Minister of Finance, John Kuma, Ekaye. Yes, you yate, Brad John. John, what kayate? Then, Kenneth Oriata himself. Yes, Chairman Sabosu, the majority leader in Parliament, the leader of government business, and of course, the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. And also, Ekasa Sebwe. E-levy passage. We recognize that it is important to stand with the people. The people may not get it right at all times. That James Ekasa Sebwe. He said, given the economic crisis coupled with the Russia-Ukraine development, the government needs the E-levy to ensure viability of the economy. Tio, I said now Russia-Ukraine war no yadia we like a basketball da. What would say basketball da? What is say we yadia bet be atwa da, but what dey? I say because of Russia-Ukraine war no nti. Enyema free about on everybody na ahoti because of the Russia-Ukraine war. Nti ahoma here say yen kwaje E-levy no ni yen fan complement kakra ne ye wo no any COVID-19 related issues no yera chebe zabosu o kasa sebwe ye da say then came that man the road minister himself awanya botra afa magana for ye kind economic statement ni wie budget ni wie ya de chi ya de wo predecessor me predecessor ade awu agwakwa wayi ana no so kokwa yi rotos ni na free kwaso no kaje say ya de be ye jo so dai also making it very interesting, very funny and comic statements. If Ghanaians supported the E-levy, we would have fixed more roads. So this is Amwakwata, the road minister talking. Say Ghana for supporting E-levy. Nanka, hey, ya fixing a kwembe bre. Ewa Ghana hanu muse. Nanka Ghana ye need a kwembe crisis. Nanka kakrebi kete bampoile. To say biya numenum na nkibeja. Now he said this. One of the key areas of the E-levy was the road sector. So if it had been, for instance, supported, it could have helped. At the E-levy, one of the key purposes of the E-levy is that you have constructed quite brave. Like the John Kumaka, the road contractors. Then the road minister also comes to confirm. So the road minister comes to confirm to us and say, near Deputy Finance Minister Ekano, say, yet E-levy now. E-levy no bet me aboa me atua contractors ka na contractors so dey enya hode e dey akwan na Ghana the deficit on our roads no ebo abafom the deficit on our road sector no ebe reduce because we have enough money. Ghana is generating its own money. Now you decide to Ghana and you can run the road sector. Now you can come bosia. FMH contractors Ghana Maya. Basa. But this is the situation. This is where we are. Let us all support the E-levy. Niya who this roko. Now you find your day. If I support the FMH contractors. Well. Ghana for you Amwakwata yate ena Kenoforiata kasa eso so begine mu na Kenoforiata kan sembe bre o ka no quote Bible na say uncle o na botaka kama na ai ebe now the Minister of Finance Kenoforiata has said the proposed levy is not regressive but a comprehensive system to get all potential taxpayers to contribute their quota to the nation's development. Now, he said, the rate 1.5% and the exemption of the first 100 cedis transfer per day meant that the tax was pro-poor and therefore not regressive. Mubakai, the minister in charge of communication, Mamias Lawusu, Eka says, so put 100 cedis now, so Sani, and not just Oye Hieni, be any 100 Ghana cedis. So, Amoya, Kikaya, no Musuki. What they are saying, they monkey can now, yes, yate. Because for you to tell us, sir, Mupesika, and the tier contractor ska, Mupesika, I'm yet to be the idea quite a It's a good call. But the reality is that it's going to reflect in the lives of the people. It's going to reflect in the lives of the people. And it's a sad idea. What bet me to your first 100 Ghana cedis. First 100 Ghana cedis, and then they're paid in the Anya bed. But who person will send it beyond 100 Ghana cedis, and the charges will be applied. Or the amount I best send beyond the 100 Ghana cedis. If you first send the person sending 200 Ghana cedis, first 100 cedis in the end, but the other 100 cedis no, and they be charging 1.5% at their free so. Now the telecommunications so I charge you the so at their free so. Mind you, sir, beyond Nigeria reform better, I have 1.5% no. I buy this also at telecommunications 17.5%. See. Beyond the 1.5% now, I buy the better, I buy the conference with direct no. I buy this also edge 17.5%. So whether you 1% now, I buy it to you, say 1.5 for a day, any amount to be a buy it to be it goes to them, but the extra amount of money. Ni na so about free telecommunication or more as their corporate tax is so much here, which is very laudable. It's like a Ghana de lucky sikasi because almost every Ghanaian beer, na Ghana ni beer, it's your E-levy. Then let's look at what is going on. And the American course is very, very interesting. Me building this point for you to get a better understanding of the way you to me the extra whites. And the Bible say I'm what to him. Near Kenya, my son, and the down the deeper. Besa utia sia. Sasa will be person or down that's or boo, that's or Jew sick dear. Or better white. Not the Bible ashana more to him. Na or kwa ne kamu, not or bonya minyum. Eti or some say or da wa. You will be highly convinced that, hey, this man is a good man. This man is a good man. He will make this place a better place for us. He is telling us the true word of God, and he's going to implement the word of God. But, hey, patakufwa, amafo jai, ewomadia kata waho. Now, so let's come to the president himself. The president of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. Mind you, Nankofo Bebreke kase E-levy we there. Baomia yatisa Baomia can be. I will tell you what Baomia said. The president of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, and the Sasha here, Esaye, Emma E-levy bill no officially was made into law. Beginning from May 1st, 2022, the Ghana Revenue Authority started some electronic levy, E-levy. Akufo-Addo reportedly signed the bill into law on Thursday, Thursday, March 31st, 2022. And you started to say, now, so Akufo-Addo, Nigeria, for starting some more so. Yera misha da no now afedi implementation na ba ebi de atumi kokam na ebi de aye say ni atete ne kama pa ene ya say ate se na te dia ne Ghana for do na kan ni na no asa aban na bubu nuye de agu na so say he will not listen. He will not listen to anybody. He will not listen to anybody. Devoid from what the minority will say and what Ghanaians will say. Chinchinia chain. Yabaji E-levy. Chinchinia chain. Yabaji E-levy. So Abakaya, this is what Dr. Baomia also said. Once said. I say, there is no need. See, it is just a matter of towing the rows. Hey! Hey! And this is the man who wants to be president of this country. You can't E-levy budget to the way you pay. E-levy budget, you can't you pay. Emma and Wakwata, or you strategy here, take away all the toll booths from the roads. Meanwhile, the vice president had also once said that if you toll the roads, you are going to get money to build the country we are looking for. You build the country we are looking for. And this is the end results. This is the report. So, Natie, in the first section of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana, in the first section of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana, report of the Finance Committee on the Electronic Transfer Bill 2021. The person will get this better understanding. Now, so potential negative impact on the E-levy. So the minority caucus on the committee led by the honorable ranking member said his group was opposed to the bill because the use of the mobile service and individual electronic bank transfer is a choice. It's way a report a minority for the coyo and the command the floor of parliament. So now the demand for the service is therefore elastic. Any significant change in the cost of using the service as a medium of exchange to them will certainly reduce the demand for the service. Therefore, to them, the E-levy, if passed, will reverse the gains made in the country's effort to build a cashless economy and the rollback gains Ghana has made using these services as a medium of electronic transfer. It's the way Kokoba, the minority, a boy, the finance committee in parliament, a boy, a catcher man said, this is the consequences, this is what is likely to happen. So take note of this. Take note of this. Where you Kokoba, the finance committee in parliament, especially with the minority side, a boy, as Abani said, that be me found. And I will say, okay, say, Yakada Samuntia, this will be our recommendation. Yeah, recommendation there, can you now, Muntie? This is a recommendation. More share live on TV. I wanted to have a better appreciation of what you are talking about. Until Oba who and a mom would say a radio so. Then to the many abuta making kind at the Amawi. Live on Facebook, you also have a better understanding of it. Now, so this was the recommendation and conclusion. The entire 12 members of the minority caucus on the committee declined recommending this to the House for passage. The 12 members are on what the minority said, the E-levy is a scam. I said, the Yakayam said, oh, E-levy is a scam. And you're credible, and your papa, you may. Now, however, the committee, by the majority decision, recommends to the House to adopt this report and pass the Electronic Transfer Bill 2021 into law, subject to the amendment proposed in accordance with Article 106(13) of the 1992 Constitution and Order 119 of the Standing Orders of the House. And you submit it here, almost inside here, and will be a pen baby fire. And I say, yeah! Let's just say, Obia Niaje. Now, this is what they said. I also can say, you see, me person the understanding. See, I see ye anytime I take it time. You know from Maakye, I'm what you say, and you're not starting yet. It is a say, wouldn't be air Koswa. You need to be reminded that this is what you did, this is what you said. Mwagaza Musama Mukano. Yadi Bibrel, I'm what you be this. I want to fear us a woo shamia. What if you're not a woo tiamia? We are just going to remind you that this is what you said. In a press conference, I want to say, Eka say, oh, the E-levy there, the way I sit here, no, say, and yet to a higher power, MIA road contractors, and ye BBS, no, Finance Minister Kedo Foriata, you would justify to us that this is the consequences of the E-levy ebeje ediatum. Or justify Akachaye. Eko ye hotel hall meetings bebre. But in one of your press conferences, we are reminding you, this is what you said.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that background, let me share with you why we need the E-levy, which is one of the key tax measures of our 2022 budget. We are at a stage in our national development where we must all play our part and put our shoulders to the wheel. Where Greater Accra is responsible for 90% of revenues, it's not the way to burden share. Where property taxes are laughable, it's not the way to go. Where the wealthy talk about regressive taxes to detract from their own non-payment, it's not the way to go. We simply cannot build forward better with a system where everyone takes and most do not give back. The two major sources of income to pay for expenditure for any government are taxes and borrowing. The balance will tilt one way or the other, depending on the capacity to mobilize revenues. So, the gospel according to Kedo Foriata, and justify Ghana for Nigeria. It's Ghana for Ina, Etria, the E-levy. And what our meetings are good memory. It's a job for shame memory. They were not sleeping because they needed to pass a certain E-levy to make our roads better. Now listen to me. Listen to me very well. Kedo Foriata, the finance minister, and justify we a pair, and I know of Abuakwata. And Betty Giamuka say, hey, so me, more for say, Jatumunia, and the boy you wrote to Sina Free because this time around, you're not going to buga. You're going to construct the road. Giddy. You talk to Ghanaians as if the Ghanaians are fools. We are reminding you, Abuakwata, this is what you said.
The government, in its wisdom, has proposed the passage of the E-levy, to bring in more revenue to build the road infrastructure of our country for all of us. So government is looking forward to the passage of the E-levy that will bring in greater revenue, that will be securitized and then used to raise a bond, if possible. I am answering the question, so listen to me. I am answering the question. To raise a bond to build the road sector infrastructure. So government direction and government policy is to bring in a better form of correction, because the toll revenue is built in the proposed E-levy. So that's what government is determined to ensure that it's brought to bear.
So, Onya Bayan, Ebuko for a Casa to Sano Manama, a Casa to Ghana for anyhow. Sometimes you don't seem to understand the direction of a person. Somebody is saying this, somebody is saying that. They are justifying the reason why Ghana for a E-levy. Fine, agreed. Yes, it's here, E-levy now. Ghana for menya emfasuo bebre, especially yakwan. Ibetua contractors sika, our contractors who are harawo, and then as for you now. Now I just want to ask a simple question. Oh yeah, road contractor that would say me, have you been paid? Have you been paid? If you're a contractor, if you're a road contractor in Ghana, I am just asking you this very particular question. Look into my eyes and let me ask you this question. Have you been paid? Then, the first gentleman of the land, Oko Abrochime BBC, and the business said, are you still standing by your words, justifying the proposed E-levy, and you think that this E-levy will make a significant change in the lives of Ghanaians? Now that go for the can see so, and the brofo di okay bipa.
The mobile economy.
Yes, but you're taxing people on money that has already been taxed.
Is the biggest economy in the is emerging as the biggest economy in the country, and for a long period has not had any taxation at all. So it is important now that they also come into the net. Our country has one of the lowest tax to GDP ratios of any country in West Africa and of an equivalent economy. The ECOWAS area, the general average today, tax to GDP average is about 18%. Ghana, we're at 13%. So consider this if you're talking about a country which is already overtaxed, if anything at all is undertaxed.
Okay, let me take you up on that point. You know, your low tax ratio to GDP. I'm just going to quote. Read this quote to you. It's from John Kwache, who I'm sure you might know is the Director of Research at the Accra-based Institute for Economic Affairs. He says there are several loopholes in our tax system that, if they are plugged, will be able to raise our tax to GDP ratio to something like 20% from the 12% that you're talking about.
Well, first of all,
are you speaking to experts like him?
First of all, there's a recognition that
no, but he's actually saying, I didn't read all of it. He said that there's no need for the E-levy.
Well, that's his point of view.
He's an expert.
But he's an expert. There are experts in government as well, and we think it's necessary, and that's the reason why we...
You think it's necessary to tax people who are already impoverished?
And they're not already impoverished. We're talking about people. We're talking about taxing an industry and transactions where a lot of value is being created, and we want to also bring that value into government coffers. I think that is something that is there's nothing so, and the E-levy is not Ghana, it's the only country that has something like a mobile attack, a digital tax. Many countries, they will not like it. People never...
Because they're already taxing people who do business online.
Very
and
little.
You are taxing as well.
Very little. People never like taxes. I don't know any group of people, especially businesses, when taxes are brought to them that like it.
We are fools. Now, as it starts now, listen to the chronology of the events. I'm going to say, Yenyasika now. You had better road contractors. Kano for you to say, better road contractors. John Kuma said, better road contractors. And another go for say, about 1 year, the road contractors. Now, as at this time, listen to me. As at this time, I mean, no, say, I buy at the road contractors over 5.9 billion Ghana cedis. Abai at the contractors over 5.9 billion Ghana, over 5.9 billion Ghana cedis. So the question is, E-levy no, and then I'm there. If in your community has a road been fixed, baby, has a road been fixed? It's a very simple issue. And yet it's all to me, yeah. Menka. Now, anyone in February, you are not willing to bring the road tolls back. Please bring it back for your own good. How can you tell me, sir? Over 78 million Ghana cedis are horrible. You scrap the 78 million Ghana cedis and going for a new one. And you are not getting value for your money. And you tell me that you have the men who are sensible enough in managing the economy. Is that what you want to tell us? I don't know. 78 million Ghana cedis were near Jeffrey Roto. Most of them pay no to where Jeffrey Ho. Nasi kana mubenya fi road to mubenya fi E-levy nemo a wose mo de ba ya kwan no sisi akwan na kwan na yesabrewa num ni na tutu. What are you trying to tell us? What are you trying to tell us? And then someone the contractors so you are telling us say contractors when the contractors over 5.9 billion Ghana cedis. So where is the money? E-levy is Ghana why? So where is the money?